Yeah, what a lot of people don't understand about making a living in this business is that, well, I mean, it's hard, man. It's really, really, really hard. And I'll tell you why. Look, there are people from all over the world that are going to either LA or to New York or, you know, to these bigger markets who want to do the same thing that you're doing, right? And if you think of the numbers, you know, when it comes to, you know, I'll give you an example. If you audition for a TV show, they only have X amount of time to see X amount of actors, right? So it's very limited. And so you have to understand that there's, I can't tell you how many agencies there are out there. And each one of these agencies is pitching their client to the casting director. Essentially, they're only going to see, let's say, if they're doing a pre-read, which are very kind of rare nowadays, let's say they'll see people from 9 to 4 p.m. And after they've gone through all those actors at, let's say, 5 p.m., they start the producer session. And in the producer session, they're probably going to bring in maybe about, I don't know, 4 to 6 to 8 actors to put in front of the director and producer. 4 to 6 or 8 actors. That's it. Out of all the people that are in LA, out of all the agencies, out of all the actors, those are the people that they're bringing in. That's a very, very, very small number. But to get to that space, that's where all the hours come in. You know, when I first went out to LA, it took me, I tell this story all the time, it took me about 76 auditions to get my first job, which is in the course of over 1.5 to 2 years. That means I was going into all these different casting offices, coming in, reading for them, trying my best to make a good impression over and over and over and over and over again. So finally, I get my first co-star job, right? Had a few lines, few scenes in a show. And then I thought it was like, yes, this is it. I put my work in. I did the 76 auditions, 1.5 of no, 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 no. And then it took me maybe about another 30, 40 auditions to get my next co-star role on a show, right? And, but that's after, you know, for me, you know, I was a theater major. That's after putting all those hours in of, you know, school, working on my craft, years, and then doing plays, being on stage, going through the rehearsal process, getting out to LA, you know, not knowing anyone, grinding to try to make connections, to try to get an agent or a manager. It's crazy if you think about it, you know, it's crazy. And those are the things that people don't see, right? People are like, you know, man, how are the parties out in LA? How is this? I'm like, I don't even know how people have time to party if you want to make a living at this. You know, because the majority of the time, my schedule, you know, let's say during pilot season, is probably slammed from mid-January till about March, the end of March, April, I would say. And what I mean by that is that, you know, you get one pilot, you have to read the script to understand the story, and then they give you 14 pages dialogue, 10 pages dialogue that you have to go in the following morning. So it takes me all day to rehearse up until 10 a.m. the next morning. And then I have another audition that comes in, and I have to do the same exact thing for months, sometimes, without a break. And so there's really, you know, there's no real social life. There's no life. It's literally me in my room, sitting down, memorizing my lines, working on the project, and doing it over and over, year after year after year after year. How often can I perform at 90% or at least 95% every single time I walk into a room? Because everything else is out of my hands. The only thing I have control of is the actual work. And the way that I work, you know, I have to put the work in because I love what I do. But it's you know, and that's not even talking about, you know, being away from your friends, your family. You know, your nephews and nieces are growing up. Your parents are getting older. You know, you're not there for, you know, Mother's Day. You're not there for the birthdays. You're not there for any of that stuff. And it's a crazy, crazy amount of sacrifice that you have to put in and to try to make it work. I'm glad though that it's been a slow and steady process, because in that process you learn whether or not you genuinely want it that bad, you know. And then you also realize what is it that you're looking for, and you come into your own as an artist. And But it's a tough business. It's not something that, you know, happens overnight. You know, even people that get lucky and go out in their first year, let's say they book a pilot or whatever, those people have been putting in work prior to getting there, because it takes, you know, time to get a team that supports you and is behind you. And so it's not easy, man.